the 1960s, the CIA spent over $20 million on a single house cat. Their brilliant plan was to turn an ordinary cat into a living spy. They surgically hid a microphone, a radio, and an antenna inside the animal. Then they released their expensive robot spy to eavesdrop on the Soviets. On its very first mission, the cat simply wandered into the road. Get this, it was hit by a passing taxi almost immediately. $20 million and years of work were gone in a single instant. And unbelievably, this was not even close to their strangest idea. It sounds like a joke, but every word of it is completely true. The Cold War drove two superpowers to truly unhinged extremes. Behind closed doors, no idea was ever considered too ridiculous. Get ready, because these stories only get stranger from here. These are the true declassified secrets they hoped you would forget. The truth is far stranger than any spy movie ever dared to be. Welcome to the gloriously insane secret plans of the Cold War. For decades, America and the Soviet Union fought a hidden shadow war. They could not fight openly without risking total nuclear annihilation. So the real battle moved into the shadows of spies and scientists. Honestly, both sides had almost unlimited money and zero adult supervision. Paranoia and rivalry pushed their imaginations into truly bizarre places. Each side was convinced the other was building something impossible. So they raced to out-crazy each other with secret weapons. The results were part genius, part comedy, and part pure nightmare. Fear of falling behind fueled the frantic, reckless creativity. If the enemy might build it, you simply had to build it first. Secrecy meant nobody could ever tell them their ideas were insane. So the wildest imaginations on earth were handed a blank check. This bizarre arms race of ideas is where our story truly begins. Their secret budgets had almost no limits and even less oversight. And almost none of it was declassified for many decades. Let's go back to that poor unfortunate spy cat for a moment. The project was officially named Operation Acoustic Kitty. Engineers spent 5 long years perfecting the tiny implanted equipment. Believe it or not, the cat kept wandering off whenever it got hungry. They even tried surgically curbing its natural appetite to keep it focused. Finally, after all that, they drove it out for its debut mission. Its target was 2 men chatting on a nearby park bench. The cat was released, took 2 steps, and met the taxi. The idea itself was actually rather clever on paper. A cat could wander anywhere without ever raising suspicion. The problem was that cats simply refused to take orders. No amount of money could ever buy a cat's cooperation. It remains the most famous failure in all of spy history. The poor cat became a lasting legend of glorious government failure. The entire priceless program was quietly cancelled the very next week. The CIA was also weirdly obsessed with one particular leader. They reportedly cooked up dozens of bizarre plots to kill Fidel Castro. One plan was to hide explosives inside his favorite cigar. Seriously, they also designed a diving suit laced with deadly fungus. Another scheme planted an exploding seashell where Castro loved to dive. They even tried to poison his wetsuit and dust his shoes. Astonishingly, every single one of these wild plots failed completely. Castro reportedly outlived nearly all of the spies who hunted him. The plots grew more cartoonish with every failed attempt. Each new gadget seemed to leap straight from a comic book. Yet these deadly toys were funded with painfully real money. Somehow, the target always seemed to slip away completely unharmed. It became a running joke among the agents themselves. Not one of these elaborate schemes ever actually reached him. It became one of the great embarrassments of the entire agency. But some secret plans crossed from silly into genuinely disturbing. The CIA launched a chilling program to control the human mind. It was code-named MKUltra, and its methods were deeply unethical. And here's the thing, they dosed unsuspecting people with powerful drugs. They wanted to see if they could rewrite memory and behavior. Scientists hoped to build the perfect controllable secret agent. The experiments were reckless, secret, and often caused real harm. When it was finally exposed, the public was absolutely horrified. They believed they could program a person like a machine. Ordinary citizens became test subjects without ever knowing. The goal was total control over thought and will. It remains one of the darkest chapters in the agency's history. Its full scale may never truly be known to this day. The victims were left to quietly carry the damage for life. Most of the program's records were quietly destroyed to hide the truth. The strangeness did not stop at drugs and exploding cigars. Both superpowers seriously invested in real, government-funded psychic spies. Here's what's fascinating. The program was seriously called Stargate. They trained people to spy on enemies using only their minds. This was called remote viewing, and the military took it seriously. Volunteers tried to picture hidden bases and secret documents from afar. The results were murky, and skeptics called it complete nonsense. Yet the program secretly ran for well over 20 years. Desperation made even the impossible seem worth a try. If the enemy had psychics, then you needed psychics too. A few sessions reportedly produced eerily accurate hits, but most were vague enough to mean almost anything. The truth of remote viewing is still fiercely debated today. Careers and whole fortunes were staked on the power of the mind. For years, serious high-ranking officers genuinely swore that it truly worked. Millions of dollars quietly vanished into chasing pure imagination. Of course, not every secret plan was a total failure. Cold War engineers built gadgets straight out of a spy movie. They trained pigeons to carry tiny cameras over secret installations. Wait, they even hid a working pistol inside a tube of lipstick. An innocent umbrella could fire a lethal poisoned pellet. Hollowed-out coins and buttons hid microfilm and tiny blades. Agents left secret messages in hollow rocks and fake tree stumps. Some of these clever tools genuinely worked brilliantly in the field. Clever miniaturization turned the most everyday objects into deadly secret tools. A camera could vanish inside a coat button or a watch. Cracking a code could matter more than any exploding cigar. The best spycraft was quiet, patient, and utterly invisible. These tiny tools defined the real romance of the spy age. Real spies rarely looked anything like the movies imagined. They quietly shaped the real, deadly serious game of espionage. Now the Soviets were every bit as inventive and ruthless. Their spies smuggled tiny microphones into the heart of America. In fact, one bug hid inside a gift carving for years undetected. The KGB ran vast networks of deep cover agents worldwide. They perfected disguises, forged papers, and elaborate dead drops. They also experimented with their own strange mind and poison programs. Some of their poisons were nearly impossible to ever detect. Both sides were locked in a relentless race of secret tricks. Soviet spies often lived flawless double lives for many years. They blended in perfectly among quiet, unsuspecting American neighborhoods. Uncovering just one deep cover agent could take decades. The paranoia this created ran extraordinarily deep on both sides. The shadow wall between them never truly paused for a moment. Some of these deep cover agents were finally exposed by defectors. Neither one ever fully trusted a single thing they saw. Behind all the madness, some secret plans were pure genius. America built a spy plane that flew at the very edge of space. Its cameras could photograph tiny objects from miles overhead. Actually, the CIA once dug a secret tunnel under East Berlin. They quietly tapped directly into Soviet communication lines. Daring agents smuggled priceless secrets out from behind the Iron Curtain. These real operations saved lives and shifted the balance of power. For every absurd spy cat, there was one true masterstroke. Real intelligence often came from patient, unglamorous work. A single well-placed agent could be worth a whole army. The spy plane photographed missile sites across entire nations. These quiet wins mattered far more than any gadget ever did. Real courage, not gadgets, won the most important victories. Even now, historians keep uncovering fresh secrets from dusty old files. The line between genius and madness was often razor-thin. So what did this decades-long circus of secrets really cost? Billions of dollars poured into schemes both brilliant and absurd. Some plans quietly protected millions of ordinary people. Honestly, others simply wasted fortunes on doomed, ridiculous dreams. But the darkest programs also caused very real and lasting harm. These wild stories remind us how far fear can push people. Genius and folly walked hand in hand through the whole Cold War. And most of these secrets stayed buried for a very long time. Looking back, the whole era feels almost too absurd to be real. Yet every ridiculous plan was born from a very real terror. Behind the comedy was a world genuinely afraid of the end. Their strange choices still quietly shape our world today. And that is the wild, unbelievable secret history of the Cold War. It was a strange, dangerous, and utterly unforgettable chapter of history. If these insane plans blew your mind, subscribe for more true stories.